Hello metalheads, let's talk about metal and the band Metallica, forefather of the thrash metal scene in the Bay Area. They started in 1981, but first demo was released in 1982 with James Hetfield on vocal guitar, Lars Ulrich on drums. They were the two founders of the band, and then they had Dave Mustaine on lead guitar and Ron Governey on bass. They released No Leave Till Letter with like a 7-song. Most of those songs will be re-released on the first album Kill 'Em All, released in 1983. I will proceed in chronological order, so I will address every single album, giving my rating and my ranking out of the 11th album. So let's start with Kill 'Em All, that was supposed to be called Metal Up Your Ass, but the label didn't like it. So Cliff Burton was like, fuck them all. Like, Cliff is saying that, we'll give a fucking piece of hammer into their skulls. No, it wasn't like that. It was just frustrated, so they called the album Kill 'Em All because of that quote by Cliff Burton. I really like that album. For a lot of people, that's the first real thrash metal album. So many great songs on this one. The opener, Hit the Lights, it reminds me a lot the new wave of British heavy metal, but with a little add-on, more speed. And then you have all the songs like The Four Horsemen, Whiplash, this is really fast. You have Mother Breath, you have Jump in the Fire. Dave Mustaine co-write a lot of these songs. The Jump in the Fire, Phantom Lord, Metal Militia, and also the Mechanics, who became the Four Horsemen. Really like that album. I'm giving it 90%. It was still raw, but the guitar distortion has such a great color on lead and on rhythm. I really like that album. That's my fourth favorite Metallica album. Yes. Next one is Ride the Lightning, released in 1984. On this record, they upgraded their songwriting to me. The production is way better. Coming is Flemming Rasmussen on production. He's really nice. It was recorded in Copenhagen, in Denmark, and wow, such a diverse album. So many great songs on it. The opener, Fight Fire with Fire, with that acoustic part. The solo is incredible. The guitar harmonies between Hetfield and Hammett are incredible. I think Kirk Hammett found his sound on this album, especially the fact that a lot of solos on Kill 'Em All were written at first by Dave Mustaine. So he was expressing himself a little bit more on Ride the Lightning. It's a perfect album to me. The title track is incredible. From the Beltos' big battle song, or to prepare for an hockey game. The first great ballad of Metallica, Fade to Black, is on it. Also, the Call of Cthulhu, excellent song, instrumental. Creeping Death, my god, live, this song is so efficient. Don't forget Trapped Under Ice, an overlooked song on that album that is so good. Escape is pretty good too, hey, don't get me wrong. And I'm giving that album 100%. It's a perfect album to me. One of the best albums of all time. And I like how James Hetfield's voice was evolving. A lot more grit, a lot more control on this one. So it's my second favorite album. And yes, next one is probably one of the biggest from Metallica. It's Master of Puppets, and it was released in 1986. Okay, that album is just crushing from start to finish, with the acoustic start with battery, and then you got those rhythmic riffs that are so nice, and a lot of energy. The solos, again, very emotional, a lot of feelings by Kirk Hammett. Sanitarium, their second ballad per se, but the end of the song is a pure thrash metal song. You got Disposable Heroes, a fast one with nice lyrics about war, Damage Incorporated, such a banger, fast thrash metal track. Orion, probably their best instrumental song. And Cliff, those bass parts with Cliff on bass are so tasty to me. Yes, Cliff was a genius. He wasn't just a bass player. He was like a lead bass player. So there was two lead, Kirk and our friend Cliff. I think the production is a step better than Ride the Lightning again by Flemming Rasmussen. And every single song is a fucking banger. Master of Puppet, the middle part, is some of the best songwriting I've heard in my life. The guitar harmonies on this album are all magnificent. So that's why that's my favorite Metallica album and one of my favorite of all time. I'm giving that album 100%. Also, next one coming in 1988 is Injustice for All. Before the release of that album, unfortunately, my friend here, Cliff Burton, died in a bus accident touring in Sweden with Metallica, and Jason Newsted was recruited to replace him, and they released Injustice for All, but the production is very good, except the fact there's no fucking bass, and that's such a sacrilege they did to Jason. And that's why there's a version Injustice for Jason. But at the same time, they wanted, I think, to pay respect to Cliff Burton by almost muting the bass. That album is very aggressive, their most aggressive album they did. The sound of the rhythmic guitar is so good on that album. The voice of James Hetfield is so fucking gritty, is almost screaming, and the attitude they had on that tour, and you know the album, live Purge, so nice, especially the part in Seattle 1989. So many great tracks on this one. Everybody knows one, such a great ballad with that ending that is so brutal, almost one of the first Machine Gun hits, if you don't consider the one that Dark Angel did with our friend Gene Glenn on drums. And it's so many good songs. The underrated Dyer's Eve, so good. Blacken, everything on that record is a fucking blast. I'm giving that album 95%. It's close to the perfect album to me. Just some songs are a little bit overlong. They are repeating a little bit themselves, and there's no bass. That's a weak point, but at the end, it's all guitar driven and with the vocal of James, obviously. Coming next is the Black Album, released in 1991. They went to a more commercial sound this time with Bob Rock on the production. It's a very controversial album, but it's also the most popular album by the band. I think it's a great album. There's a lot of overplayed songs for sure. Enter Sandman, Said But True. Come on, I just can't listen to Said But True again. And there's a reason. Kid Rock did a song based on the riffs of Said But True. It's painful even to say. But there's true gems on this album. The Unforgiven, you have Through the Never, A Struggle Within, The God That Failed. There's a lot of good tracks, so I'm giving that album 80%, and it's my 6th favorite album of Metallica. Coming next is Load, released in 1996. Load was an even more commercial album, but a more hard rock feeling album. There's not a lot of metal in that album, and I don't have any problem with that. I love a lot of hard rock music, but the problem is the consistency of the composition. There's many songs that are just pure filler to me, but there's still good songs like Bleeding Me, Hero of a Day, The Outlatorn, Ain't My Bitch. It's quite a good song too. There's many good songs until they sleep, but at the same time, it's too long for what it is. And I always said to my friend, if they will have packed the best songs of Load and Reload in just one 10-11 song album, that will have been probably a great album. But there's too many fillers. So that's my 9th favorite album of Metallica, and I'm giving that album 65%. And I think I'm not generous. It's fair from my perspective. Next one is Reload, the next year, 1997, and there's even more filler on that album, unfortunately, but there's also The Unforgiven 2, which is one of their best ballad. Really strong chorus, really strong solo by Kirk Hammett, really good song. Quite like Fixer. Fuel is a very energetic song, especially live with all the pyros. It's quite good. But at the end, I'm giving that album just average, 50%. There are some good moments, but some fillers also. So that's my 10th favorite album by Metallica. Next one is their best album ever. It's called Saint Anger, released in 2003. Are you fucking kidding me? No, it's not. That's the fucking worst. Fuck's sake. Yeah, Saint Anger. I will not talk a lot about that piece of crap because it's just hard to listen to. It's really painful since there's a couple of great riffs, but the chorus are so annoying. Invisible Kid. I'm not saying that. Friend tick 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 tock. What the fuck is that? Friend tick tick tock. Just answer the fucking door and let me go, man. I don't love that. Don't like that album at all. No solos by Kirk Hammett. The sound of the drum. What they were fucking thinking. That's a piece of garbage can, man. So enough said about that piece of trash. Not thrash metal. Trash. So I'm giving that album a 15%, and yes. Next one is called Death Magnetic, released in 2008. That's a way better effort. Rick Rubin is coming on production, and that's actually my favorite album, except the 4 albums in the 80s. I think that album is really good. The first 3 songs are the worst of the album. Still, they are quite good. I don't like the end of the line that much, but That's What Just Your Life is pretty good. The Day That Never Comes, a really fucking banger in the style of One. All Nightmare Longs is such a great song. It's a masterpiece of a song to me. The Judas Kiss is really good. You have Suicide and Redemption, the old school vibe. Instrumental like To Live Is To Die, Orion, The Call of Tulu. It's not on the same level, but it's quite nice. And I really like My Apocalypse also. Pretty good album, and I'm giving that album 80%. That's my 5th favorite Metallica album. Next one is Hardwired to Self-Destruct. And that's a pretty good album. The production is even a little bit better than on Death Magnetic. Death Magnetic could have... The sound of the drum is not good at all. The sound of the drum is way better on Hardwired in my ears, but it's uneven as an album. There's really good song. The best one is maybe the best song since like the Black Album and maybe Injustice for All is Spit Out the Bones. What a fucking banger of a song. I really like Atlas Rise, Moth Into the Flame, Halo on Fire. It's quite good too. Hardwired, the title track's a short trash banger, but there's too many songs that are overlong for nothing. So it's hard to give a great note to that album for that fucking reason. So I'm giving that album 65% still for the good songs. Finally released last year in 2023, 72 Seasons. This album is quite well produced. I will have taken a little bit more aggression in the sound of the guitar distortion, especially the rhythm guitar. It's an album that is a little bit overlong to me. There are some really cool ideas. The second half of the album is way better too. I think Chasing the Light, Room of Mirrors, Too Far Gone, If Darkness Had a Sun, yeah. Even the last song is pretty good, Ino na Marata, but it's way too long. Cut like maybe 25% of that album, cut maybe 2 songs, and it will have been probably a very good album, close to a great one. But it drags in length because they're the same riff that are going on again and again, and that's why I'm getting tired of that album quite soon, even if I try to like it for quite some time. So it's not a bad album, but it's not a good album neither. So that's like my 8th favorite album, and I'm giving it 60%. So yes, I preferred Hardwired, so it was probably 7th favorite album. Yeah. So that's it for that ranking. What's your ranking? That's now you're coming, you and you. That's my ranking, but I want to know yours. What's your favorite Metallica album? Obviously, the 80s run was one of the most prolific run of albums of all time in metal. But I know there's a lot of people that likes almost every single album. A lot of people can't stand an album after Injustice for All, and I totally get that. What are your favorite songs also of Metallica? Especially your favorite song after the Black Album. Because there are some good, really good songs after the Black Album, but it's just too easy to shit on everything Metallica did after Injustice for All, and I get it, all the hate, but I still can appreciate a lot of stuff they did after Injustice. But I think the first 4 albums are untouchable and some of the best music that ever been written. Oh yeah, oh yeah, James. So thanks for coming by, and I hope you had as much fun as I do doing that, making that video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for all the subscribers. Give me a like if you think it's worth it, and if you want to join this community and have some fun and watch more videos, you're way welcome, my friend, mates. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!